it's black people are like white people are not being hunted after. Y'all can come here and live a great freaking life.
You think you're being hunted?
Let me tell. Okay, y'all can laugh, but until you have walked as a black person on this campus, y'all truly don't understand.
This is what all this racism is. All this white supremacy is that black people in general feel that white people are God. Mm-hmm. That they are supreme, and there's something built in us, and I think it's just rhetoric that's just been passed down that makes black people feel like they're not as good as white people.
Right.
And therefore, they always have to come in with a sort of feel sorry for me. Mm-hmm. I need to be protected.
I will say, though, that she accidentally said, just by accident, she said that, black people are being haunted. And she messed up and said, she meant to say hunted. Actually, black people are being haunted by themselves within their own demons, not by the white boogeyman. Hi everybody, welcome back to our channel. We were sent a clip of Charlie Kirk talking to a college student about CRT, and I thought it was quite funny, to be honest with you. Real quick, I think it's funny that they call this tour exposing CRT, critical racism tour.
Hi, my name is Erin. I'm a student here, and I'm an African American Studies major. But one thing I do agree with that you haven't said tonight is the school choice thing. I do agree that you should be able to go to a school that's outside of your zip code. I went to a great high school. That's exactly why I was able to come here. But my other question is that what are some examples of critical race theory? Because I know like another question that another girl came, she said that she had to learn CRT in her sorority, and what I thought it was is that you should know how to interact with people of other races, because I went to a school where it's mostly Caucasian people, and I had to learn how to interact with other people. So is it something like that, or is it something deeper that we don't really know?
No, it's super simple. So let me just kind of ask you, I bet we agree. Do you support black-only dormitories?
Well, when I think of black-only dormitories, I believe that you're talking about like maybe HBCUs, because it's mostly black people.
No.
Where are these?
Western Washington University, public school in Washington, has black-only dormitories. Is that something you would support?
I mean, I would probably live in one, but I mean that.
Wait, so you don't want to live with white people?
I didn't say. I mean, I didn't say that, but I mean, it's kind of hard sometimes. Like I have multiple. I mean, I have a lot of white friends or whatever, but sometimes I mean, it's hard to fit in here. Well, when you go here and you're a different color, I mean, it's not hard.
Well, what would you support? White-only dormitories?
It's some around here. Not many black people go here, so it technically is white only if you think about it.
No, it's not. No, I mean, well, let me ask you another question.
I don't think anybody here would. Oh, well, some people might, support that. I mean, I never said I supported any only kind of thing.
That's why I'm asking, right? I think that
Do you support white only dormitories?
Absolutely not. I think it would be racist.
It's preposterous. I believe that.
And guess what? Black only dormitories are racist too.
I mean, I guess so. I might live in one if I could, but I can't, so.
Okay, well, let me ask you another question. At Columbia University, they have black-only graduation ceremonies. Would you support that?
I mean, is it just like, so are they not able to graduate with the white people? Is that why they can't?
Well, they have a separate ceremony just for black people.
Oh. I mean, I guess it's kind of like the separate ceremony when they don't want to go to graduation. They want to do it online. That's how I think of it.
So do you think segregation is evil and wrong?
I mean, black people weren't even able to join sororities here until 2012, so not the PhD one. So, segregation here. George Wallace stood in front of the doors. I just know
that's not true, and like.
So why did we care about Jim Crow?
Yeah,
we were already doing that. We should have just kept it.
This woman's okay with segregation.
But most black people are. They're okay with, they would be mad if a white person said that they didn't want black people here, but they're okay with saying we don't want white people here.
Yeah.
My thing is I don't understand why people get so upset with Jim Crow when we kind of want it. It's the white people saying they don't want it, not the black. The black people are saying they want it. The white people are saying they don't want it. But our whole foundation of complaining is based on slavery and Jim Crow
and the pushing away of black people within businesses and things like that in schools. I thought that we didn't like that, but you're okay with that.
I mean, you want affirmative action so you could be black in a white business.
Yeah, right.
But then you also support not being around white people at all. You see I'm saying when I say that black people in general, we are a walking contradiction. We don't make sense at all.
And also, so you guys see the mental gymnastics that she's having to go through, and you can see it in real time of her trying to figure out how to articulate something that's not articulate. What she's doing is she doesn't want to say that she doesn't want the segregated, dorms or whatever, or graduation. She doesn't want to say no. She knows it's wrong, but she also wants to make sure that she's appealing to black people. So she knows that it's wrong to segregate like that by color. She knows it's wrong, but she still wants to appeal to black people. So she's willing to say, well, I would go to a black-only dormitory. Really? Because that's racist. You're racist.
A racist thing.
And Charlie's telling her, you're racist. If you're okay with that, then you just admitted you're racist, and she's walking a fine line. That's why we're seeing the mental gymnastics going on.
And clearly the truth doesn't change her because she's wearing a mask when they already said the mask don't work.
It doesn't work.
So in general, when
No
she
one's
gets told
wearing
the
it.
truth about things, she hangs on to the lie.
Yeah.
Okay, when were PhD sororities and fraternities desegregated? 2013. Oh,
So you're
not
trying to tell me
2012,
that black
but
people were
2013.
not able to join a fraternity
Yes.
because of
Do you
the color
remember
of their
George?
skin?
Do you remember George Wallace too? Segregation now, segregation, for all.
Yeah,
forever.
That's what
That happened as well.
That's what you're espousing when you say that black-only graduation ceremonies or dormitories.
Black-only graduation ceremonies are the least of our problems, least of yours. Do you think that you'll be able to go to a HBCU and have this same turnout and have these same people? Let me
Well,
tell you.
I would hope so, but I mean,
So what would you say to them?
but
What
here's
would
the
you
thing.
say?
So, I'm sorry, what?
What would you say to a room full of black people about critical
You know what I would
race
say?
theory?
I'd say your skin color means nothing. You're made in the image of God.
You're right, but I completely agree. But
Puppets.
I can tell you right now. I'm a Christian. I believe in God, but I have been going here for 3 years. I'm a Jew.
When people talk like this in such an ungodly way, support ungodly things, and then say they are a Christian, that's blasphemy.
Yeah, I mean,
Are you serious? You're not a Christian, ma'am. You're not a Christian.
you don't believe in God. If you believe in God, you would feel free.
Yeah, I'm insulted.
I feel free.
Yeah.
I'm free.
I'm free. I'm free.
I'm free.
So this
But
is
I believe in
bondage.
God.
Yeah.
So I'm free.
People who think like this are in bondage.
Yeah.
Look, people always talk about slavery and the shackles that were put on slaves and all. The biggest shackles coming out of that many slaves said, even Booker T. Washington, was a mental shackle. And we're now free of actual physical ones, but we're holding on to the mental
You say the
ones.
slaves were smarter, mostly because a lot of them tried to at least escape.
Yes.
They tried to escape. They tried to escape. So that means that they physically were bonded down, but they could escape. And when they tried, they were willing to risk their life to do it. And this also is the black church. They talk about social justice stuff instead of God. And this really is showing you that most black people, when we talk about God, we don't realize that your freedom, the fact that you believe in God, it means you have freedom.
Yeah.
Because if you truly do believe in Christ, you do have freedom. But the idea that a lot of black pastors are standing up there talking about social justice and allowing all these politicians to speak at their church is showing you what they're really teaching them. Not teaching about God. They're teaching them about how to be a Marxist.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
I have most definitely faced racism and prejudice no matter what I believe in. And it's just really hard to sit up here and listen to people come up here and say, oh, I don't want to learn CRT. It's just making you able to interact with other types of people.
Victimhood's coming out. Victimhood. You hear the breath, the kind of pretending to cry. She has that kind of, her voice is getting shaky. This is the victimhood, feel sorry for me part, because no one's on my side right now. I thought maybe a couple would be, but they're not. And now I have to pretend to be in a panic.
Yeah, and the irony that the only person talking about segregation is the black person and not the white people,
Right.
shows you that you are racist.
Right.
Like I experienced racism, as she's saying. No, you are the racist.
You are the racist.
You're telling these white people that you won't want to be around them, and that it's okay to be in separate dorms. And so, could you imagine any white person going to a HSBCU saying that we want our own? Because some white people do go to HSBCU.
Yeah.
So we want our own dorm. We don't want to. We want to go to the black house, but we don't want to hang out with you guys.
Imagine
Literally.
it.
Could you imagine how viral that would go?
I have no problem.
No, it's not. So let me just tell you. So at the Georgia public schools in Atlanta, they put black sixth graders in one classroom and white sixth graders in another classroom. Is that evil?
I've never never seen. Can you show me a video of those
Happy
of those
to.
kids?
Atlanta segregation of public schools.
Well,
It was
please
national
show me.
news.
Not to interrupt, but I have family members that go to schools in these areas, and I also have people who live in redlining
Right,
districts
but I'm
where
just
they
asking,
can't go to good schools.
do you support segregation?
No, I do not.
Okay, we agree. Therefore,
Okay.
black-only dormitories and black-only graduation ceremonies and putting sixth graders in one classroom based on skin color or
I
the
don't have
other,
any
those are
source of these.
those are outgrowths of CRT.
So learning. So tell me, give me an example of what critical race theory is. I don't.
So
that was my first
I'll be
question.
happy to tell you. So critical race theory is an emphasis at saying skin color matters, that the color of someone's skin is important in judging the value of the human being.
I get that, but if you were teaching a class that is like that was talking about critical race theory, we were all sitting here.
Yes.
What would your lecture be? Like, tell me what are your points? Like, who is this author that you're
So
reading
Herbert
from? about critical-
Marcuse and
Okay.
an author by the last name of Spinoza wrote a book called One-Dimensional Man in the 1960s. Herbert Marcuse came from the Frankfurt School in the 1930s, and he started this at Columbia University. Coming out of a Marxist belief of power dynamics, he believed that power struggles were not just the rich versus the poor, but also black versus white. And he wanted to expand the kind of conversation to also engage racial dynamics. Inherent in critical race theory is a belief that people are not individuals, they're members of tribes. Inherent in the idea of critical race theory is that there is no free speech or reason or scientific inquiry. These are white supremacist, Eurocentric constructs that have been put into the Western world. And the one that I think that is most prevalent, CRT believes racism is everywhere, that racism is the norm. That racism is within our systems, it's in our language, it's in our customs, it's in our codes, it's in all these sorts of things. Now, that's a super quick version of what CRT is, so happy to dive into that more, but I think we don't have to overcomplicate it, which is, do you think people should be judged based on the color of their skin?
It's not that I think that, but it's that it's happening, and you cannot ignore that. I might not be treated the same as him as he walks.
You're
through
right.
the door.
It is happening. Like at Coca-Cola, they say they need to train their employees to abolish whiteness. At AT&T, they said they would need to train their employees to get rid of whiteness. We have a supply and demand issue with racism in our country. We have an incredibly low supply of racism and incredible demand to try to fulfill it. So we've created
Yeah, but she doesn't like the racism. She doesn't like when people talk about racism. This is what happens to black people like this. They hate talking about racism when you're talking about the other way around. They only want you to talk about it when the white cop is beating up the black person or whatever is happening, right? They don't want to hear the other thing because they want to say this is our thing. Mm-hmm. This is wait a minute. Racism is our thing. What are you trying to do? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it's like, no.
That's right. You've been conned to be a racist.
You've been conned.
Just like white people were probably conned to be racist in the day. Mm-hmm. And all those days that we were talking about, how you can look at those old white, those old reels of newsreels where white people just use the N-word just because it wasn't a thing then. They could say stuff like that. Now they wouldn't dare. But it's because it's because that generation of people were not given the same kind. They were given very little information, and they were given a bunch of emotional feelings about things. About black people come and take over and take their jobs, and there was a lot of propaganda being pumped in to white people. There's a lot of propaganda being pumped into black people now, and now you see we've almost switched. Yeah. Now we're saying we want segregation. Now we're saying that we're better than them. We're the ones walking around calling ourselves gods, kings, and queens. We're the ones telling white people that they're not good enough.
The racist comments.
You know what I mean?
We get racist comments all the time, but guess what? Not from whites.
From blacks.
From black people. We get called the Aunt Jemimas. We get called the coons and the bed wench, the tap dancer, the Sambos. We get called on a daily basis. Not from white people.
But we don't want to talk
White
about
people.
the fact that Union soldiers were mostly white and they died and we were freed. We don't talk about those white people at all. We only want to talk about the white people in the South who helped get black people out of slavery and get them to the North. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about that at all.
Right.
Racism where it doesn't exist and try to turn everyone into mini racists against each other, which has now manifested itself into a massive anti-white movement in our country, where I believe more than anything else we should care about character, not skin color. Do you agree with that?
It's not. I don't believe that you understand what I'm saying. It's not that I don't agree with not. I'm I'm sorry. Oh, it's not that I don't agree with, you know, what you just said, but you have to realize that black people are like, white people are not being hunted after. Y'all can come here and live a great freaking life. Alabama is a safe haven. The PhD fraternities and sororities are a safe haven
You
for white
think you're
people.
being hunted?
Let me tell. Okay, y'all can laugh, but until you have walked as a black person on this campus, y'all truly don't understand. And I've gone to school.
Sorry to keep stopping with you guys. I will say this forever. Anytime I have the chance to say this. The majority of people that are screaming they're being, profiled or whatever it is, going through racist situations on a daily basis, most people today have never even experienced racism. Real racism. Not this new phantom racism. I'm talking about real racism. She is not telling the truth.
Mm-hmm. She don't like herself. I can look at this girl and tell
yes, I know.
She don't like herself. And when you like yourself, you're able to stop thinking about yourself all the time.
Right.
You think of yourself less. You know what I mean? And the thing is that she's consumed with herself. Mm-hmm. He's asking you a simple question. Do you believe in segregation or not? No. She's asking you. Just answer the question. Mm-hmm. I'm not asking you what's happening in the world. I'm asking you specifically because the world is you have to be the example you want in the world.
Right.
So it doesn't matter what other people are doing.
Yes.
If you are doing it, then you need to be, then things will change. Mm-hmm. So he's asking you a specific question. So what you're saying is, I don't like white people because I don't feel as good as them. Mm-hmm. And this is what all this racism is, all this white supremacy, is that black people in general feel that white people are God. Mm-hmm. That they are supreme, and there's something built in us, and I think it's just rhetoric that's just been passed down that makes black people feel like they're not as good as white people.
Right.
And therefore, they always have to come in with a sort of feel sorry for me. Mm-hmm. I need to be protected. You know what I mean? And she doesn't need to be protected. She's going to a white college. You know what I mean? She's surrounded by white people. And she's saying that when she walks along her campus that she feels afraid. Then why did you go to that college?
Yeah.
I don't understand why, if you're afraid of wherever you are. I mean, I won't go to the south side of Chicago. I'm afraid.
Yeah.
I'm not going to just go there because I'm black and there's some black people there. Right, I'm not going to just go somewhere if I feel afraid, which lets me know she is not afraid or she wouldn't be there.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. She's doing these things unscathed. She's going to walk out of this building normal. Yeah. Nothing's going to happen to her. She's saying a lot of racist stuff right now, but nothing's going to happen to her at all. Nothing's going to happen to her. She's going to be fine. But I will say, though, that she accidentally said, just by accident, she said that, black people are being haunted. And she messed up and said, she meant to say hunted. Actually, black people are being haunted by themselves within their own demons. Mm-hmm. Right. We are being haunted by ourselves. Mm-hmm. All right? Not by the white boogeyman.
Joy Reid went to Harvard. And she walks around talking, on MSNBC, walks around talking about all the time. Everything she says is racist. That is one racist woman. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And she goes, and I was an affirmative action I was affirmative action placement in Harvard.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, we can tell.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah, we can tell. We can tell that you did not earn your way into Harvard.
Is she the one that? Is she the one they say that?
She's the one with the Donald Trump.
I'm about to say that
hair.
They say that she's trying to look like Donald Trump.
She does try to look like. She's got this weird blonde wig that she wears all the time. But every single segment is all about how white people have suppressed her, and this woman is successful. Her whole life has been in affirmative action. Yeah. She needs to turn around and say thank you, white people, for affirmative action being to this job and to that college. And I mean, I just think it's ridiculous, but this is what we're passing down.
Yeah. Ooh, white people my whole life. I've grown.
So
but it's just.
I will end with this. You're not being hunted at the University of Alabama, and there is no boogeyman that's trying to get you.
It's not. You're making it seem.
You live in the least racist country in the history of the world.
You're in Alabama. You are literally in the place where it's not okay.
You mean the place that has given you more talking time than any other person here, and where they sit respectfully. You're supposed to shut
me down and be like, go sit down? I mean, of course I'm going to talk to you.
That would have happened 100 years ago. You're right. 100 years ago, you might not have been allowed to come into this room, which would have been evil. No, instead, we are here. We're creating a movement to say we never want to go back to the segregation that once existed in this country, that is now being pushed by people in corporate America, in academia, and other places. We want to strive for a country that cares about character and the soul and the spirit of the individual, not on tribes, not on the melanin content in people's skin. And I will say this as compassionately as I can, is that you are not being hunted as a black person in America. There's not a single statistic that affirms that. There's not a single data point. Instead, the opposite is true. We are the least racist, most accepting, multiracial country in the history of the planet, and I pray one day you'll be thankful to live in that country. Okay. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you.
Everybody.
CJ, come here. Really quick. I have a question. Come here. Go right there. Right there. So CJ, just really quick, you're a black person. Are you hunted at the university?
You know, I don't feel hunted at this university, but I guess the difference between me and some people here is that I don't choose to be a victim, Charlie, which I think is the biggest problem we have here today are people who wake up every single day looking for a reason to be oppressed, looking for a reason to cry and make an excuse about why they're not in a position to go win. I don't see the color of my skin as a disability. I see it as simply an accessory that I couldn't control. I've been black all my life. I've been black today, and I'm thriving here. I think that's a roll tide right there, right? I don't know.
And so CJ, let me ask you, CRT, racist?
It's not just racist, it's the exact iteration of white supremacy, just in reverse. I think it's important that we start teaching young people not to hate other people because of the color of their skin. We can teach black people to be proud of who they are without telling white people they should be ashamed of who they are. You know?
Amen.
Again, like when I hear young black people talk
what
about
a
this.
coon for saying something so, normal.
What a sellout. That guy is such a sellout for being not a victim.
Again, in black America, though,
Such a sellout.
she's right and he's wrong.
Yeah, isn't that funny? See how they do this?
Up is down, left is right,
Yeah.
in is out.
Yeah.
And for us, that's the way that it is. You know what I mean? And when one of us gets out, one of us escapes like the plantational mind of thinking for yourself. Then you are not a part of the plantation anymore, and so you don't understand them anymore. So they look at you as white.
Yeah. Now just look at the visual difference between the demeanors between these two people, black people. She's huffing and puffing and loud and, oh, what do you mean? And she's losing her mind because she cannot believe that this white man is out here actually saying things that I probably should be saying. But I'm not saying it. He's not believing me. So I'm going to get all in a huff and hopefully that would trigger him to start saying things, to validate me. But it didn't. And so she's getting all huffy. And then we look at this other guy that comes up here and he's asked one question, gets the answer, and we're done.
Yeah.
Because he's confident in what he's saying. Because you know why he's confident? Because he's telling the truth. She's losing her mind because she is not telling the truth. The only times people get like that is when they're not telling the truth.
Yeah.
She's trying to pull out anything she can to help the white people that surround her see that, you guys should feel sorry for us. Yeah, you should definitely, and so when she hears people clapping for Charlie, she's just like, wait, no.
And Charlie, if he was at HSBCU, he would actually say the same thing. Charlie's not a punk. He would say that.
Will say
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so this would not be a different conversation if all the audience was mostly black. I mean, you have to, but again, even when people get mad at us, I know they're not really mad at me. They're mad at what I'm saying. And the thing is, this is why we can just move on from the bad comments, because I understand is when you challenge someone's worldview, they don't like it. They get very upset and they get very angry. You know what I mean? Because they've been told something, and the idea that they could be have been lied to and bamboozled makes them feel stupid. So they have to hang on to a lie so they don't feel like a moron. You know what I mean? And the truth is that look, the way that my life has changed has only been because I've been told the truth, even if I didn't want to hear it. Yeah. It's not, people think that love, we live in this world now where affirmation and affirming everybody is supposed to make them feel good about themselves. You know what I mean? But the truth is that's not true. Yeah. The truth is that truth changes people. Getting used to being uncomfortable is what's going to change you. What you want is on the other side of what you're afraid of. You know what I mean? And so if you're going to sit back and always take in something that you're at a school full of white kids, if you know that you're doing it, and you know deep in your heart, like Daniel's saying, she's lying, deep in your heart that you're able to go to your dorm room and go to your classes unscathed, no one hurts you, no one does
after what you said,
Charlie done gave you the floor, you know what I mean, longer than anybody that was there. You know what I mean? And you know that's true. That means that you are now lying, and that is a sin.
Yeah.
And when I say it again, I'll say it. I'll keep saying it. We are going to pay for being this sinful. There is an anti-white agenda, and again, I think that we're becoming black supremacists, and I don't like it. I don't. That's not. Like Robert Wilson said, we never during the civil rights. That's why he left the civil rights era. He's like, we had no intention of integrating. He wanted to desegregate.
Yeah,
that was never the point. That when they started talk about the integration, he said a lot of people backed off. That's not what we were looking for. They were wanting access, but they didn't. They didn't need that. They were doing well. Black people were doing well during Jim Crow.
The idea of integration is forced companions, forced business dealings, forced community dealings, forced
language, forced everything.
We're going to force you guys to be in the same community. We're going to force you guys to be in the same job, the same diner, the same whatever, right? But desegregation is more of give us the opportunity and let us just be American.
Yeah,
that's all that was. So I agree with that. Like integration to me was the wrong idea. It's the desegregation gives you agency.
Even Malcolm X didn't want that.
Yeah. No. Yes.
Remember he said he
didn't want that.
If a white man puts his arm around me, that's my brother. But if someone puts a gun on his head and tells him to do it, then that's not. And that was what integration was about. It was about forcing people to do stuff. And I don't want someone to like me just because they're being told to. I want you to like me because you like me. You don't like me, you don't like me.
Yeah.
Everything that we're saying that they did to us, we're not just doing to ourselves. We kill ourselves on the streets. We call ourselves N-words. We talk down. In hip hop music, they talk down to black women. They call each other N-words. If you go to any major black inner city, there's dead people and gang violence. It doesn't stop.
Yeah.
We do more abortions than any other race of people. And we only have 13% of the population. So go make that work. We're a third of we're a third of the abortion rate, but we're only black women are only about 8% of the community.
Yeah.
Less because if you take away little girls, you know what I mean? But we're doing a third of the abortions.
Again, we create the problem and then we want the solution to be from the other person. No, the solution is in-house. It's not out there. No, the solution's over here. We have to be the change. And we're not going to be the change. If you're gonna have a person sitting here talking about how she doesn't understand what CRT is. Exactly, you're in college, you know exactly what CRT is. And guess what? You're implementing it right now. You're doing it. Just stop asking him to give you examples of something that you're doing right now.
It's just, look, I tell you, if we get reparations, it won't change a thing. It'll still make things worse.
Yep.
I can tell you that. It's going to make things worse. It will never end. And the next thing you know, it'll be women asking for reparations. Oh, we didn't get to become successful back in the day because men wouldn't let us. That kept us chained to the kitchen. So now it's our turn. And then gay people.
Yeah.
Well, we were hunted. See how it goes? This will never end.
And even
if you get it, it won't be
I'm about to say that. I was just about to take the words right out of my mouth. Even if we get reparations, that's not enough. We ain't supposed to get this, and I'm like, okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, it doesn't help that your life is not. To me, life is not supposed to be easy.
No.
On a biblical standpoint, if everything was great and you never had a problem, you wouldn't even need God.
Yeah.
You're supposed to have challenges in life.
Struggles. These types of things are supposed to happen.
Slavery, they had their challenge. That was theirs. That's not mine. I'm not a slave. So my challenge is something else, and I am going through challenges. That I have to pick myself up and do it. You know what I mean? It's just like what he say is like someone said, I think it was Sylvester Stallone in his Rocky when he told the boy, he said his son, he said it's not about getting beat down, it's about getting back up.
Yeah.
And even Robert Woodson said that when he was on Dr. Phil to those people that were wanting reparations. He said it's not. He said listen, it's not. It's the victim that has to get back up, and that's true. We have to get up and we have to create and we have to make our lives well. You're not going to get a nice life because white people are nice to you.
Right.
That isn't, or they give you money or they let you slide on insults.
Well, this is what I'm trying to say in the last video though, that you can't throw money at a spiritual problem.
You are literally lying en masse to get what you want, like a child. Like a little child that's not getting their way and you're having a little tantrum. and you think that if you just keep throwing that tantrum, then people will just give you what you want. And any parent that gives their kid what they want when they throw a tantrum is ruining that child.
Yeah.
You let them have the tantrum. You let them deal with their feelings. And that's just it. And so any white person that's trying to defend black ignorance is letting us throw a tantrum and giving us a cookie.
That's what it is.
And I don't want your cookie.
Yeah.
I want to deal with the problem.
Right. That's why they talk about the white liberal. Because white liberal people often do this standing up for black people thing. And I'm like, look, there's nothing to stand up. No, what are you doing? You know, they still don't like you.
No.
Yeah, it's just funny when I see that with white liberals that are trying to be, you know, the black advocate, you know, and stand up for the rights, fist in the air, white liberals. I'm like, you know, you do realize that once it's all over, they still don't like you. Because they inherently just don't like white people. They don't like you. So you're doing all that for nothing. They learned the hard way though. You know, the Scott Adams and stuff of the world. You know, they still don't. This is an internal problem.
Yeah.
When I see people like this lady, and she is not rare. Look, if this type of person was a rare, and it was the exception, she was like an exception. These kooky people out here acting like this. Oh, okay, whatever. We can go. No. This is the rule. She's the rule.
But why do you think with all of these news networks that are mostly run by white people, all of these basketball teams and football teams that are all ran by white men, and why do you think they would allow us to do that?
Yeah, right.
Unless there was an agenda.
A big one too.
You think that all of these non-owning black places, like all these big tech places, the Facebooks in the world, you know what I mean, all these places that are owned by white people, why they would let us just say stuff like that about them?
Right.
Why they would give us a microphone. Why Joy Reid has a show on MSNBC where all she talks about is how unfair it is to be black, and she throws white people under the bus. Why do you think MSNBC would let her just do that? It's because they do have an agenda. There is an agenda to get black people in this mindset to keep us dumbed down. And it's the same slavery thing. Don't get them keep uneducated. Keep their mind off of what's going on over here. Keep their mind over here in these small things.
Yeah.
Keep and what else? They keep the body strong, the mind small.
They've replaced a lot of that mentality too with celebrity. So what we're seeing now is celebrity kind of replaces that as well, because you know, Beyonce, for instance, can get up there and just do her routines of dancing and singing and all this stuff, and be pro-black, right? Do a Super Bowl where it's pro-black, but not one time mention the violence going on in the black community, within the black community, but not one time as a woman mention about the single motherhood rate or the abortion rate. Not one time will she mention that.
She will mention racism. They will never, not a Oprah, not a Michelle Obama. They know, if I know it, they know it. Yep. So even Barack Obama talked about the fatherlessness.
Yeah.
And he stopped talking about that. Jay-Z talked about it at one point.
Stop talking about that.
He
stopped talking about that.
John Lemon talked about black men and pulling up your pants. Stop talking about that.
Why do you think that is?
Why do you think that is? It's because there is a globalism agenda that is trying to happen, where they want this one world government, you know, and you know, they're opening up our borders, just letting people fly on in here, making sure all the minorities are all the same, you know, get women with their egos and feminism going, make everybody lost in self. It's just like, what do you think? Why do you think that this is happening? We are walking away from God. Because if we were actually in that Bible, all of these things would be complete. They're clear to us because we read the Bible all the time. I read the Bible all the time.
Right.
So when I see it, I'm just like, oh, wow, this is demonic.
Well, especially when you understand Marxism. They try to get you away from God. This is what we're doing. We're extracting people away from God. And then we're going to insert new ideas.
Even Stalin, when I was watching a thing with Stalin and all the big dictators, and they all did that. They all denounced God. They wanted you to wait. Anybody who was religious got arrested or worse. They wanted you to worship the state. They wanted you to worship him. Mussolini, Stalin, Pol Pot, Hitler, all these people. Hitler, you know, he was, you know, he believed in Jesus.
Yeah.
But he didn't like Jews.
Right.
But see, my point in saying this is that whenever you see a sort of something that seems just like stupid, like, you know what I mean? Like, why would, I mean, even that small, what I just said, why would all of these white companies be all of a sudden okay with all these black people just calling them racist, and they're just taking it and platforming it and paying these people? There is, there has to be something else happening for us to be able to do that. For us to be able to just do that without any correction. Did you watch Cutting Through the Culture?
I watched it last night.
Okay,
Sunday,
so
yeah.
Chad made a really good point about fishing. He takes his son fishing.
Oh, yeah, he
That
did.
was such a good point.
Yeah, he
That's
did.
this is my point actually.
Yeah, Chad
is
did.
that what he's saying is he said I take my son fishing. You put the little worm on the hook, and then you put the the hook in the water, and then a fish. They think that they see prey, and they just see this like it's not moving, it's not doing anything. It's just sitting there, and they go for it because they don't have to hunt. And then as soon as they grab it, a hook takes them, and then takes them to service where then they're now food. Okay, so that is sort of what I'm talking about. Why do you think that we're able to do these things and say these things unscathed? Nobody gets in trouble. It's because there is a hook.
Yeah.
There is something there. No, we're not going. And I keep saying this. We are going to pay for this.
You want it to be a constant battle of victimhood. This girl is probably, she's college age.
But I mean, I'm glad that we see stuff because you can see in real time, like the mental gymnastics that these types of black people have to do to make their point. She doesn't make any sense.
No.
And she knows it. She's sitting there with a mask on her face, and they already told you that it didn't work.
There's this to me just seems like somebody who just wants to be seen. She just wants to be seen. She wants her voice to be heard. She's not making any sense. Charlie is. She was expecting. I think that she had a preconceived idea of how she's going to say this. And I think when she's at home talking about it to herself, she knew exactly how she was going to word it. But what happens is when you get in front of an intelligent person that's not only intelligent but has done research and has factual, data, and that's able to tell you that on the spot, it gets you, when you're not telling the truth, it gets you all in a huff. She wasn't expecting it to go this way. She was hoping for people to feel sorry for her. Okay, you guys, let us know what you think about all this. It's Charlie Kirk's, we have a lot of clips of Charlie Kirk. I mean, you guys send us a lot of Charlie Kirk stuff, right? So you might do that next week, another Charlie Kirk compilation. We have a lot of those. But anyways, let us know what you think about this video. We'd like to hear your thoughts on this, and that's it. We will see you guys in the next video.